So a very simple but extremely, extremely important message for you this morning. And that message is, don't, whatever you do, linger in your past to the point that it begins to affect your present and your future. Don't linger in your past to the extent that you can't see the opportunities literally right there in front of you. As the saying goes, don't cry over spilt milk. There is no use in worrying over past events which cannot be changed. There is simply no point in being upset or regretting something that has already happened to you. Again, that cannot be changed at any point in time. And let's talk this morning in vehicular terms. In a vehicle, there is a windscreen and there is a rearview mirror. Now, there is a reason why the windscreen is significantly larger than the rearview mirror. It is an indication that what is in front of you is by far much more important than what is behind you. As a matter of fact, what is behind you is only worth a few occasional glances from time to time. Similarly, within the scope of your life, what is in front of you, meaning your future, is by far more important than what is behind you, meaning your past. Your past is only worth a few occasional glances from time to time, but your real and your full focus has to be in front, not behind you. Every second you dwell on the past, you steal from your future. Every minute you spend focusing on problems, you take away from finding the solutions to those problems. And to drive that point, of course, I've got an anecdote for you. A man came out one day for a walk on the riverbank. And when he came out, it was in the morning, it was still dark, as the sun had not yet fully risen. After walking for a while, his foot hit a bag that was lying there. And of course, out of curiosity, the man picked up the bag and he put his hand inside. As it was still dark, he could not see the contents of the bag. So he literally just felt around inside the bag and he found that the bag was filled with stones. So to pass the time, the man sat there and he started to pick the stones out of the bag and throw them into the water one by one. By the time he got down to the last stone, the sun came up. And now, because of the sunrise, the sunlight had spread all around. Now, in the light, the man was now able to see what was in his hand. He was now able to see that what he had been throwing into the water all along was not stones. He saw that the so-called stone he was holding on to was very shiny and very bright. Instantly he realized that the stone he was holding on to was no ordinary stone. He was stunned because what he was holding in his hand was actually a very, very precious gem, a very precious ruby. Seeing this, he started crying bitterly. Looking at the last precious stone in his hand, he started cursing the darkness as he realized that he had thrown away so many rubies and so many gems. Just then a wise man went past, saw him crying and asked, "What happened? Why are you crying like this? What is the matter with you?" So the man told him what happened and how he had lost so many precious stones. The wise man said to him, "Son, don't be sad. You are still lucky that the sun rose in time before you threw away the last stone. Otherwise, you would have lost everything. This one precious stone that you have in your possession can still help you tremendously. So instead of crying over what has gone, you should be happy with what is in your hand. Rejoice and strive for a better future and thank Allah for what you still have in front of you." After hearing the wise man's words, the man stopped crying and he went home happily. The takeaway point from this is that you should not keep regretting over what you have lost But you should move ahead in life with what you have in your hand and make the most of it. Always remember that life is full of changes, full of losses and unexpected turns. You may lose opportunities, you may lose relationships, you may lose possessions, and sometimes you can never get them back. It's all natural to feel a sense of regret or sadness when you experience these losses. However, it is extremely important to remember that dwelling on what is lost can hinder your ability. To, number one, appreciate what you still have, and number two, it will hinder your ability to move forward in a positive direction. Regret itself often stems from focusing on the past, on things you cannot change. It is important to acknowledge your feelings of loss and disappointment, but it is equally important to recognize that dwelling on those regrets does not change what has happened in the past. And it will never ever help your present state or your future state as well. Every experience, including loss, teaches you valuable lessons that can help you grow and evolve as an individual. And by approaching life with the mindset of learning and growth, I can assure you, you can turn setbacks into opportunities of self-improvement and personal development. Moving forward with what you have in hand doesn't mean that you ignore your past or the lessons it has taught you. It means that you accept what has happened. You accept that this is the decree of the Almighty. You learn from it, and you use that knowledge to shape your present and your future in a positive way. Ultimately, by focusing on the present moment, by continuously looking ahead, and by making most of what you have right now in front of you, the resources you have in front of you, the energies you have in front of you, the opportunities you have in front of you, you can create a more fulfilling and a more meaningful life. So my message to you this morning is quite simple. Let go of regrets and embrace what you have in your hand right now. Move forward with confidence, move forward with optimism, and most importantly, place your full trust in the Almighty. And I can definitely assure you that these things will deliver you to higher ground.